He has good taste in women and movies, apparently, Amy. In movies as well. All right. We're good? We're good? We're live? Live on Facebook? Let me know when Facebook shows live. Live on Facebook. Ladies and gentlemen, I just simply want to show you what separates our Newsbeat room from the rest. I think there's things that we can do that you won't see on the rest of Wall Street. Maybe you will, maybe you won't. Prove me wrong, but either way, if you're going to take trading seriously, you're going to want to quickly watch what I'm going to show you today. It's not going to take a lot of your time, but it's going to enlighten you. I am Mark Melnick, and this is the Newsbeat Show. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Newsbeat Show. So many great things to talk about today. By watching the show, you're agreeing to hold me, Mark Melnick, NT3 Live, harmless and not responsible for anything. Okay, let's move on. So I wanted to talk about what really separates our room from the rest. I think there's just a lot of rooms that do very similar things. I think there's very similar things, and I th the issue with a lot of these rooms, I feel, is they're not helping the majority of the end users. Some of the end users will make money in every environment, like what I tried to do is I created, this was 2012, and I was running a room, and I created what I called um, the silent theory. And what it basically did was I invited traders to come in a free trading room, um, and I didn't charge them anything. But what I did was uh, I was silent on the mic. I showed my game plan and then I didn't say a word. I didn't show when I was entering. I didn't show when I was exiting. You could chat if you want, but I wouldn't talk. And I did this intentionally for a month. And then what I realized is out of the 100 people, six of the traders came back and told me that they actually were profitable for that month in which I was silent, with 94 of them, or 94%. I literally limited it to exactly 100 traders. It was absolutely free. I took traders with experience, new traders, everything alike, and said, just come in. And what I just call it is the simple law of numbers. The truth is that win rate was actually above the industry average. So it actually shows you that you could do a lot of damage by broadcasting, for example, by sharing, giving conviction where there is none, and etc. And the point of today's video is I want to show you things that I humbly believe is unique to the room. So I'm just going to show you just a few things today. We're going to go ahead and discuss them and show you what the Newsbeat difference looks like. We're going to show you a few things. So when it comes to news services, we call ourselves the Newsbeat Room. Yet we don't charge as much for a Bloomberg terminal or a Deal Reporter or any of the other extremely high-end news services on Wall Street. Yet when it came today to something like Macy's, um, what I did was I took three news services. I'm not here to bash anyone, but the first place you could have heard the Macy's chatter news today was in the Newsbeat live room. This is where we were buying. This is where we were buying Macy's, where you see the yellow arrow. This is another news service. You could probably guess what it is based on the price of it. Here was another news service, and here was another. I know there are probably 100 news services that probably would have gone over something like this here today, but where you see the yellow arrow is where the Newsbeat live room got it. So pretty much, simply speaking, there was no better place to hear the news flow on Macy's. There was no better place on Wall Street. You heard it here. I know I don't like the name. I'm not here to boast, but you heard it here first. And there are probably hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars made. I absolutely crushed it. I'm continuing my streak. I have zero losing days this month, which actually surprises me, not because I have zero losing days, but that I have zero losing days for the month of August. It's actually turning out a lot better than I thought. I didn't know that, but that's not the point of today's conversation. So just to show you, this is where we were buying Macy's with conviction. After we bought that Macy's, I'm estimating about 40,000 contracts went off afterwards in Macy's today in terms of Macy's calls after we announced it and bought it. That's number one. So I know for a fact through that you can't get that anywhere else on Wall Street because that's where we delivered it. And we were ahead of anybody else, and nobody can say anything because nobody was able to do that better. Now, let me show you from a technical, that's a news flow side, right? So from a technical side, we talk about like algorithmic levels and whatnot. And what I want to do right here is I'm going to show you a chart of CGC, Marijuana Company Canopy Growth, and what we called out this morning. Now, to some, the bottom today looks very random. I'll even show you a 5-minute chart of CGC today. It fell in the morning real hard and exploded. Looks completely random. And some people out there are looking and they have no idea why something like that would happen. However, if you were in the Newsbeat live room, we were telling you that 2278 was going to cause massive algorithmic buying in CGC today. We're telling you that in the pre-market. The stock opened up at 2331. We said if it hits 2278, massive buying is going to come through. And you might hear me say how like I watch some people around me who draw trend lines and it's everywhere. Everybody draws horrible trend lines. They're very vague. It's a generalized area, but drawing a trend line is an exact science. That's why we're able to nail the day lows of things, and that's why I put such an emphasis on it. So, just for an easy challenge, I'm going to show you the answer. But looking at this chart, I want to show you how I called the dead bottom of CGC. I was 2 cents off of the dead bottom today in the pre-market. And I also want to point out, and I'm just showing you candlesticks and volume. You actually don't need the volume, just the candlesticks. They're just there for show. Just how simply by drawing a trend line that you could call the dead bottom of CGC. And the way we did it is drawing the algorithmic trend line of the bottom right here of May 14th connected to the bottom of July 20th, 2018. You draw that trend line and you could call the dead bottom right here of CGC. This is how we did it. Just drag it up. There we go, so it's easier to see. This is how we did CGC in a real-time basis. Now, keep in mind, I was bearish all along until this line hit. And you might be sitting there thinking to yourself, why that line? And it might not make sense to you. There's so many lines you could draw that are very legitimate in CGC. Why the bottom of May 14th to July 20th? That, unfortunately, will take me a very long time to explain, potentially hours and hours and hours. But this is what the algo course will teach you. We're doing a new algo course soon. This is what the algo course, when it's finished, will teach you. It will teach you how to do this. And I don't know anyone on Wall Street who is offering this information. And I only offer to call the bottom of one stock in the pre-market, and it was CGC at $22.78. And it hit 22.76. I'll even show you what a 1 minute looked like. And again, I'm just showing you the type of things we do here. It has nothing to do with any silly 1, 2, 3 formations or any of the other stuff. And maybe that stuff works for you, and that's great. And maybe the stuff I'm showing you now doesn't bring value, like being able to call the dead bottom of CGC in a real-time basis. Maybe not, but at least respect that I'm showing it to you. And then what happens here is it hit 20. This is a 1 minute chart. Hit 22.76, bounced to 23.07 in 1 minute. And then the rest is history, and it kept taking off. The other thing we did today was a Tiffany's Mark V strategy. And the Mark V strategy on Tiffany's, we're actually looking to short it in the morning, and then we decided to go long based on what the market was giving us. We simply bought right here through 84.19, got a beautiful, beautiful pop here, and I just sold out of my calls. Actually, right over here, some people held and did a lot better. The stock went to 86.59, ran another $1.60. Beautiful 5 minute setup. And it's just trades like that that we bring you to the table that really differentiate us from the majority of Wall Street. A lot of members were asking about Bitcoin and can you call the bottom of Bitcoin? And the answer is yes, I can actually call the bottom of Bitcoin. I have, if you actually watch the Newsbeat shows, the most accurate bottom Bitcoin calls on Wall Street. And I only made a few of them. I'm not saying I made 100 of them. I only made a few of them, but after I make them, they bounce hard. So if you're watching Bitcoin, just going to copy and paste here just to show you how these trend lines work. It's easy for me to tell you what we did today, with thousands of people watching, but maybe you're not a Newsbeat Live member for whatever reason. So let me actually show you where Bitcoin can bottom if it hits. And I'm actually going to show you the level and explain it to you. So listen very closely, right? So on Bitcoin here, you're going to have to draw the bottom and again, this is based on TradingView. I know there are different exchanges, so I'm using the TradingView exchange. I know the price can differentiate. So I'm using the tradingview.com. It's a free charting site. Okay. Very simple. So I'm using the bottom of July 17th to the bottom of, and I'll go back and I'll talk about this trade, right or wrong. We're using the bottom of July 17th to the bottom of July 28th. So let me pull that out. So just to show you, because I want to spell it out for you. So this candle right here is July 17th. And we'll come back to this. Right or wrong, I will come back to this trade for you guys, okay? Because I just want to show you that algorithmic trend lines is the wave of the future for technical analysis. The CGC wasn't proof enough for you. I'll offer you this. And this was July 28th. And you have to draw the bottom of the chart. You have to draw the bottom of the lines exactly. And I'm going to tell you even what it's going to look like, how it's going to break, what it could look like in a real-time setting. Okay? I think that's fair enough. This is the true algorithmic wedge for Bitcoin. Now, what do I mean true algorithmic? So you mean there's a lying algorithmic wedge, Mark? Sort of. Sort of. And here is, I have to pull this in right over there. This is the most important, those are the three most important trend lines to use in Bitcoin right now. But I want to share the bottom of it because we're close to it. I want to share the bottom and just give you some value. So what I want you to do on your chart on the daily is to draw the bottom of July 17, 2019 to July 28th, 2019. And again, I'm using the tradingview.com charts, and I know it uses the Coinbase exchange. And if you're using different exchanges, the prices are different. I'm not dealing with that nonsense. I'm sharing with you the exchange I'm using ahead of time. Okay. So if you use a different one that's arcane or mundane, you might get different levels. So basically right over here, if the if it hits that trend line, what's going to happen is you're going to break it because it's first of all a falling triangle wedge, which is extremely bullish. This Bitcoin is indeed extremely bullish. What happens on a falling triangle wedge with the volume you see, you're going to break that level, but you're going to break it very, very slightly. So for example, tomorrow this level may hit, which is why I'm bringing it up to you right here. It's right around, it's an estimate because I'm using this chart. It's right around 94.76, but here's what's going to happen. Here's what's going to happen if it hits this trend line right over here. So this is what's going to happen. I'm going to spell it out for you. So there's zero confusion. And here we go. So first thing is the level breaks and heads lower. So do not buy on the support line. I know, it sounds incredible. What's the point of support if you're not buying on the line? Just listen, open up your mind, and I will show you. The whole point of is because the trend line looks like that, you are likely to break it. It's almost definite. So if that line is approximately 94.87, you should be looking to buy anywhere underneath, which will be about 9,200 to 9,400. And then what you do is you wait for the date to close and you set a reasonable stop. Now you might be sitting here thinking, well, why aren't you talking about a target price or why aren't you talking about a stop loss? Because I'm not a scam artist. And it's not about being a scam artist. It's just simply about the fact that if I were to give you that information, it would be bringing you zero value. And I did a whole video on this, why that doesn't work. So the truth is, I'm only giving you one step of the puzzle. I'm only giving you one step of the puzzle. Now you might be thinking, well, I want more steps of the puzzle. No. No is my answer to you. It sounds a little bit harsh, but here is the reason why the answer is no. Because after this Bitcoin bounces here, which will be, this will work about 83, 84, 85% of the time off this level. After it bounces, the truth is you're going to have many up and down moves towards it. I could say that you could have a stop under the daily candle that hits this level. I could say that you could go to 96, 97, 9800. You might be looking, oh, what's $400 or $500 on Bitcoin? Maybe nothing for you. Ignore the trade. If you're scoffing at a 4% move, 5% move in Bitcoin, don't take the trade. Now, I don't know what happens from here. The truth is, this stock afterwards could just go stock. This cryptocurrency can go up, and it could just go up like that. And maybe it goes to 12,000, maybe it goes to 15,000, maybe it goes to 20,000 after it bounces off the support. Maybe it gets to 9,700 and then breaks down again. So what I do if I play this, and I don't, but I know cryptocurrency is very hot right now. So what I do is I sell the majority on the first pop and let the rest ride on the house. And the importance of me telling you this is I'm avoiding psychological toxicity. Because if I buy it at 9,300, let's say, it doesn't really matter where you buy it, whether it's 9,200, 9,300, 9,400. That, believe it or not, is irrelevant. The only thing is to buy it below the support line. You do that, and you're following exactly what I'm trying to tell you. Now, let's say you bought it at 9,300 and whatever, right? 9,300 you bought it, right? And it goes to 9,700. I'm looking at that and I'm up $400 on Bitcoin. I had a 4% move, more than 4%. You get the picture on Bitcoin. Let's say, okay, my account might be larger than most. For argument's sake, let's say I owned 1.001 Bitcoin, right? I bought one Bitcoin at 9,300 and it goes to 9,700. Now, you want to hold it because you think there's a good chance it keeps running up. I would personally look to sell 75 to 90% of that Bitcoin. Yeah, you could hold fractions of a Bitcoin if you didn't know. So I would sell 75 to 90% of the position. Why? Why? That's such a small move. I need to catch the big moves. Because I'm not emotionally attached to the trade. I don't want to be emotionally attached to the trade. If the thing goes to 9,700 and then 9,500 and then 9,700, 9,300 and then 9,800, I don't want to have to sit there watching it. I don't want to have to spend the psychological attention sitting there on my phone all day at nighttime, laying in bed looking at the price of Bitcoin, seeing where it's moving next when I'm not going to do anything about it. That's what I don't want. I don't want emotional attachment. I don't want an emotional attachment. I hate to sound very vulgar, but in the stock layman's terms, it's hit it and quit it. It's hit it and quit it. That's what it is. That is what this setup is. It's a hit it and quit it strat. You hit it, you're up money, you lock it in. You want to leave a little runner on the house with a trailing stop, and maybe it goes higher, maybe it doesn't. You make money no matter what. Psychological fortitude. That's how I do it. So this show wasn't going to be very long today. I know you guys want the algo levels. Were you impressed how we called the bottom of CGC? Can you call the bottom of CGC? Are there other rooms out there which can call the bottom of CGC while mentioning it as a big play in the pre-market potential? Here are tomorrow's levels today. The levels, don't always hit. In fact, they usually don't. But when they do, I, Mark Melnick, tend to have an easy time buying when support breaks and shorting when resistance breaks, either through common stock and or options. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I really just wanted to demonstrate some of the things that we do differently here. You know how many traders walked up to me and said, Mark, I did nothing but your Macy's chatter play. I did nothing but your Macy's chatter play, or I did nothing but the CGC, or I just did the Tiffany's Mark V because that's what I'm good at. And there's so many different tools that you could use in this room to monetize in this environment. And that is what keeps us consistent. And that this is just one of the many reasons um, of how I'm just making money every single day this month. And I think that is a very positive psychological thing, especially for the month of August. And I just wanted to give you a little demonstration of what separates us from the rest of Wall Street. So on Bitcoin, I'm going to save it. But remember, I just gave you a level. That's if it hits it tonight or tomorrow or in the future. The truth is, this is an ascending support line, so it goes up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you in the future how this trend line hits. So the goal is to buy it a little under the trend line. So the trend line for example, tomorrow hits around 94.87. So just drop like 80 to 100 points from wherever the trend line is, and that's at most of what you should pay or lower. So the whole goal is to be 200. The whole goal is to be 80 to a few $100s below the support line when you buy it. And as long as you do that, um, you will make money over 80% of the time in Bitcoin or any other chart setup that is based like this, because black boxes and algorithms follow these trend lines more than they do any other form of technical analysis on Wall Street. And to me, that is a statistical fact. Now, I'm not saying this is what you need to do to make money. There are a million ways to make money. There are people who just follow candlesticks who make money, who had moving averages and Bollinger Bands and Fibonacci's, but the most accurate form of technical analysis on Wall Street, if you're looking to get as precise as possible, if you're looking to do what we did in like a CGC, calling, the dead bottom of a CGC here based on an extremely complex trend line from all the way here. Like, why would we use that trend line? Why would we focus on it? There is a reason. There is a science behind it. And I just wanted to show you what differentiates us from the rest. I hope you guys enjoyed the Newsbeat show. Thumbs up this video if you liked it. Happy trading, make money. See you guys tomorrow morning on the Newsbeat live trading broadcast. Have a wonderful evening.